closed meeting. We're going to go around, starting, Bob, with you. Why don't you give us an introduction of why you're here as part of the transplant interest group?
I'm here because I have had 2 kidney transplants. Sue gave me my first one 20 years ago, and our daughter gave me my second one 4 years ago. Oh. And tomorrow she'll be 30.
That's incredible.
My daughter.
Congratulations.
And this is my wife, Sue.
I'm Sue. I donated my kidney in 1992. I'm Kathy. I'm his wife.
And caregiver.
A caregiver.
I wouldn't be here without her help. My name's Dan, and I'm a heart transplant recipient, 6.5 years out.
Congratulations.
I'm Susan Pincus. I'm a kidney pancreas recipient, and there will be 14 years in October.
Congratulations.
And I'm Pam Gleason, and I'm the mother of a deceased donor. My 13-year-old son was killed while I was running his bike, and became an organ donor, and they recovered his liver and both of his kidneys.
I'm Jim Gleason. I got a heart transplant 18 years ago. So Jillian, why don't you give us a little bit of background on yourself?
Okay. My name is Jillian. I have been a dietitian since 2003, but I've been in the renal field 4 years in August. And I work for DaVita. I work at the dialysis center called South Broad Street on Broad and Federal in South Philly. And I did have that. I know where I met you now. We toured one day at the Gift of Life House.
Yep.
So the block away. Yeah. So I'm very interested in nutrition, obviously being a dietitian, and also in transplant. So when Talia asked me to just give some nutrition expertise, I was more than happy to do that. So.
And Talia, you introduce yourself and then go right into the whole.
So my name is Talia Giordano. I'm the social worker here at the Gift of Life Family House. This program tonight is through our Caregiver Lifeline program, which I'll talk about a little bit in a minute. But the Family House, we provide lodging to transplant patients and their families who are traveling into Philadelphia for transplant-related treatments at any of the 8 transplant centers in Philadelphia. So I'll quickly get started, and then Jillian will talk about the nutrition side. So this is the Family House here on the left, and then we're a block away from the Gift of Life donor program. Does everyone know what the donor program is?
Yes.
Okay. So I won't go into that. So the Family House, you see most of it upstairs. The top right, that's one of our guest rooms, our kitchen, and then this lovely lady right here, that's Missy. She's our personal chef who's going to be doing the cooking demonstration later. So really quickly, I just wanted to go into who is eligible. So solid organ transplant recipients, solid organ living donors, and their families. And they must be traveling into Philadelphia for transplant appointments, and that could be before transplant, during transplant, or after transplant. So the Caregiver Lifeline program is a program of the Gift of Life Family House, and that's a program to address the needs of transplant caregivers. So we're the first of its kind. We focus on the transplant patients' caregivers, and we provide support through education, advocacy, and resources. Any caregivers here know how stressful and straining it can be to be a caregiver, and without you being healthy, then it could affect the patient's health. So mainly the way to access help is through our website. We have a Caregiver Lifeline website, and there's education on there, articles, resources, transplant resources, and caregiver resources specific. And then we also provide outreach seminars, so we get other professionals to help in this, and this counts as one of those seminars where we go out into the community, either to support groups in Philadelphia or anywhere in the region, which is Eastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and Delaware. So I'll let Jillian go now with the nutrition.
So the actual definition of healthy is possessing or enjoying good health or a sound and vigorous mentality, a healthy body and a healthy mind. So it's basically not being sick, being free from illness, being happy, controlling your stress. There are many ways to describe being healthy, and everyone probably has their own different meaning of that. So we're going to focus on eating right and exercising, and right also can be defined many different ways. So we're going to just focus on what will help reduce illness and disease. So this is something that may look familiar to all of you. It's been around for a long time, and no one's really using it anymore. The food guide pyramid, I know all through when I was in school, it kept getting updated and updated, and we would always be taught about the new pyramid. But now, it's what we, like I said, it's what we used to go by, and it gives just a basic description of how many portions of each of the food group you should be eating on a daily basis. Now they're using something called My Plate. As you can see, choosemyplate.gov. I think recently, a couple weeks ago, it was considered My Plate Day. So I was talking to a lot of my fellow dietitians about that. But the government put this out, and it basically shows that 50% of your plate should come from fruits and vegetables. They're just really trying to push that because those are, very healthy for cardiac health, and trying to get away from the fat group. The sweets and alcohols and sugars and like fried foods, things like that.
Now I have a thing I can put on the website if you want.
Sure. I haven't looked at it in a really long time, so.
I was on it recently.
It's hard because being that I'm a dialysis dietitian, I can't personally promote My Plate because the dialysis diet is so different than, a regular person's who's not on dialysis diet. So I'm not exactly 100% familiar with this, but it's a great website to go through.
I think they have a weight tracker or something.
It looks great though. There's a lot of things you can click on to learn about different things. So again, like I said, their goal is to just have 50% of fruits and vegetables be incorporated into each meal. But there are so many different foods out there, so a great way to coordinate fruits and veggies, they say, is to go by the colors of the rainbow. I've been learning this ever since I went into the nutrition field, because each of the different colors of the fruits and vegetables provides a different source of nutrients. So if you follow all the colors, you'll be getting all the different nutritional benefits.
And also the handout that was just passed around, there's a lot of different handouts that have sort of information pertaining to each of these slides. So there is a color guide, a rainbow color guide that has the different colors and then all the different fruits and vegetables that fall under that category.
And actually they say the brighter and the bolder the color, the better. So people always ask me about how foods, mostly veggies are cooked more than fruits, how they should be cooked, because if you cook something for a really long time, it looks like, if it's in water, it looks kind of drab, like I'm picturing like a green bean vegetable. So, if you steam something or eat it fresh, that'll give you the best nutritional value, especially with the lid on, because if you leave the lid off, the steam can actually release some of the nutrients. I don't know exact percentages, but the fresher, the better. And I just was thinking of canned green beans. Canned veggies, unfortunately, lose many of their nutrients, and they also have a high levels of sodium because of the preservatives in it. So, again, fresh is best, and then frozen would be after that. So this area is focused on transplant caregivers and nutrition as well. Caregivers can really experience feelings of stress, feeling very tired, and feeling very overwhelmed, as most of you would probably agree with me. And it's very easy to undereat or overeat in situations like that. And sometimes people reach for fast foods or fatty foods because they're considered convenient foods, and caffeine to stay energized and make sure that you're awake in times of need. So eating healthy can definitely help reduce burnout, reduce medical illness on your part as the caregiver, and it can encourage you and your whole family to eat healthier. The patient, the family members, and it can help reduce stress and depression. Caregivers at times can have physical and medical issues, so that's why it's better to make sure that you're eating healthy and trying to incorporate exercise into your daily routine. Just to mention, it says there are studies out that show the more a person exercises, the less likely they are to be depressed or to be stressed out. And there are abundance of certain minerals that have been shown to reduce stress, and we'll get into that in just a sec. So Time is always a factor. I know in general I feel like I don't have any time for anything half the time, so that can definitely be a factor of stress. Also, financial issues, money. It's a very common stress factor these days. And then stress in general about whatever, about anything. So, it's not always easy to make a huge meal for yourself or your family, especially, during times of stress and financial restraints. So everyone usually reaches for fast food, the cheap food. And I know I can reason with this too. I feel like sometimes I have no time to cook, no time to even make it to the grocery store. And in the morning I want to pack something healthy for lunch and I'm running, late, and I find myself, reaching for something convenient, which is not always the healthiest thing to do. So time is definitely a big factor. So ways to sort of get over that are maybe keeping a journal. Sometimes they say if you write down something that you're eating, it encourages you to eat healthier because you go back and look at it and you can think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just ate all that fat or all that fried food, all that greasy food. And it's a good time to plan. When you can plan ahead, you can think about what foods that you really want to be eating and then make a little bit of time to plan ahead and go food shopping for those types of foods. And on-the-go snacks are great as long as, again, you're planning ahead and you're making sure that it's the right type of snack to carry on you. I'll admit this doesn't work for everyone, but some people think that it helps with their metabolism and their hunger level if you eat like 6 small meals throughout the day instead of feeling pressured to eat 3 large meals. So eating every 2 to 3 hours may keep you energized, keep your energy level up, and also working with time, because I know we all feel like sometimes time is something we don't have enough of. So ways to help making that healthy grocery list affordable is first making the list. Again, making sure that you kind of plan ahead and know what you want to purchase. Not wasting food. If you think something's going bad, maybe preparing a dish and then freezing it so you have it to go back for later. Seasonal and frozen foods are always good because they last longer. Well, frozen foods last longer. And again, I just said freeze leftovers. Buying bulk doesn't work for everyone unless you have a lot of mouths to feed, but that's always a good way to save money when you're buying in bulk.
And in the handouts, there's a eating on a budget handout that gives a description on if you don't want to spend a lot of money, how to do that, and then also it gives what vegetables are in season when, so like they're the cheapest to buy at a certain time. That way you're not spending so much money on a vegetable that's only in season during the summer and you're trying to buy it in winter.
Oh, that's great. And if you don't feel that you are getting a lot of a variety into your diet, you may be lacking in some vitamins and minerals. So a lot of people choose to take a multivitamin. The B vitamins are, it's known that they help reduce stress and of course provide nutrition. Thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, folate, vitamin B6 and B12. And of course hydration. Water is the best thing that we can drink. It's calorie free and it keeps us hydrated. So again, some tips and reminders: eating every 2 to 3 hours so you don't get hungry, because if you wait a long time to eat, you may be so hungry when it comes to that next meal that you tend to overeat, because I know people have told me that they've done that before. So snacking every 2 to 3 hours may get you through those hunger periods. And if you plan your day out like that, you can squeeze a couple healthy snacks in, and then you won't feel the need to eat such a very large portion, especially dinner, because then you go to sleep with an empty stomach and then you can feel it when you wake up the next morning. I tell my patients this all the time: label reading, especially with snacks, is one of the most important things you can do, because it's not only informative, it teaches you what is in certain foods, what nutrients to look for. You want to look for fiber. Fiber helps with digestion. And if you're a diabetic, it also helps slow down how quickly the blood sugar is raised in your actual sugar. The blood is in your actual sugar. And so it can teach you all the different nutrients that are in each food.
What's
Of what?
the 33? What's the
Okay.
333?
Less than 3 grams of fat is considered to be, a healthy food item that's not considered high in fat. And I did bring up fiber, more than 3 grams of fiber. I say 5. I say if a food has 5 grams or more per serving of fiber, you can consider it a good source of fiber. And less than 300 milligrams of sodium, which is unfortunately difficult unless you're looking at like fruits and veggies. Mostly everything has sodium in it, but thank goodness a lot of products put out stuff that is made, light or low sodium. So that's the 300 rule. 3 grams of fat, less than 3 grams of fat, more than 3 grams of fiber, and less than 300 milligrams of sodium. So you can take a look at the self-care circle, starting at the top, of course, eat healthy. More often, if that works for you. That personally doesn't always work for me, but I have patients that tell me all the time they love the 6 small meals a day thing. Watch your energy level. I fortunately am not a coffee drinker, but a lot of people are addicted to that caffeine, so you can try to maybe get away from how much caffeine you're drinking. I always say take your cup of coffee and maybe do half regular and half decaf and try to wean yourself off of it if that's something you're interested in doing. And it can certainly help raise your self-esteem if you have more energy because you can feel like you're getting more things accomplished. Exercising more, which is easier said than done, but it makes you feel so much better and you feel good that you're getting out there and doing that. And that can help decrease stress and make you feel better as the person that you are and as a caregiver to help the people that you're caring for feel better as well.
That's it. That was quick. Does anyone have any questions? Jillian, do you have any, we talked a little bit about snacking, any good suggestions for snacks throughout the day?
Nuts are great because, I guess if you get the nuts that don't have sodium on them to promote the under 300 milligrams of sodium, nuts are great. I always say cheese and crackers because it's a good source of carb, which is energy, and then a little bit of the protein in the cheese. Cottage cheese is super high in protein, and it's great. It's a great calcium too, low in calories, low in fat. Pretzels are good, things that that can't spoil if you're on the road. Pretzels are great. Light microwave popcorn is a good snack. Even just a half of a sandwich with tuna fish or whatever your choice may be.
Does anyone have any questions?
About peanut butter, that's bad.
No, I'm so used to not promoting that because dialysis patients aren't supposed to have that. But peanut butter is great, and I'm a firm believer in that if you buy something fat-free, I can't eat fat-free mayo, I just can't eat it, but I buy 1/3 less fat peanut butter, and I think it tastes just as great. I don't even taste that it's low in fat, and you can, eat it on anything. You can eat it with apples, on a sandwich, with crackers, anything you like to eat it with. So peanut butter and it's an excellent source of protein.
I eat it right off the spoon.
I know a lot of people that do that, and I used to promote that all the time, especially to my newly diagnosed diabetics. Now I can't talk about it at all, so thank you for bringing it up because I'm not used to recommending it.
The other way
Patients
peanut
I
butter
see
tastes
every
great
day.
is on apple. Slice apple so you get your fruit and the peanut butter.
Or if I'm hungry, I open the drawer and I keep the jar on my desk.
I know a lot of people that do
I
that.
just eat it by the spoon.
My office mate does that.
Does anyone feel like they don't have time to cook?
I mean, even as a dietitian, I feel that way.
Yeah, our kids cooking.
Really?
Oh, that's great.
That is nice.
Well, they want to eat at 7 o'clock at night, they wait for us. If they want to eat at 6,
He had a kidney transplant. His doctor told him to stay away from fruit because of, it's not the potassium in it, is it?
Fruit, all fruit?
Said all fruit.
Yeah, it would raise something.
Well, it could be potassium, but those are the fruits that are high in potassium, as you probably remember, are really the only fruits
Well, he has
that...
to take a pill and to combat this, it's an antibody issue because he has my kidney and Laura's kidney in him.
Right.
So he has to take this medicine, and the doctor said to stay away from fruit.
I'm sorry, I'm not really sure about that, because I have patients who are on dialysis right now, but from speaking with the doctor that rounds on my patients, the only restriction that I've ever been told that should stick after transplant is just watching sodium very carefully.
Well, you can't have grapefruit if you take it.
No, I never-
Well, that with, right, with their medication.
And orange juice has a lot of potassium.
And
Well, he
orange
doesn't
is
eat any-
orange.
He really doesn't eat any fruit. He likes,
And if you have thyroid disease, you can't eat walnuts.
Every time
I
I eat
wasn't
fruit,
aware of that, and I
I'm
have
fruit, like
thyroid
a bowl,
disease.
yeah.
They never told me that.
I just found that out. I've been taking thyroid medication for 20 years.
I'm a year now.
It counteracts the thyroid medication.
Did not
Should
know
never
that.
eat walnuts.
Thank you, I didn't know that.
And I just read 2 articles about frozen food too, that many of the nutritionists leave food when it gets frozen. So it's almost as bad as canned.
Just without the sodium, but not the nutritional value, right?
What about other nut butters other than peanut butter? I love sunflower nut butter.
Really?
I know, I've never tried that, but that sounds great.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I haven't looked at the label, but I can imagine that it's really high in protein because of where it comes from. So I think that would be great, because, protein always makes you feel satisfied, so anything like when I was mentioning cottage cheese, same thing, high in protein, so I think that would be great.
Almond butter's really good too, but it's a
No,
little
I
fatty.
don't like almond butter.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't had it in a while, but I love that.
Whole Foods.
Whole food.
It's the Whole Foods, you found that?
The sunflower.
Good, I'll have to check it out.
Because I love sunflower.
Whole Foods also has a machine where you can get unsalted whatever nuts, and you put it through the grinder, and it makes a little thing.
I think I've seen that, I didn't know what it
It's
was
expensive,
for.
but it's really good.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
I like the-
tastes good, but it's expensive.
Yeah, I feel like everything in there is, but everything's so great.
Yeah. Any more questions about the handouts? There's the last page of the handout is about label reading, and I mean, that's really important. I know, 'cause I think from what I heard at the last support group meeting we were at, people didn't realize, people never look at serving sizes.
That's a huge thing. We imagine serving sizes as Americans to be much larger than they actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work with somebody who eats a can of soup at lunch.
That's why they eat a whole can where it says stuff it says, they eat the whole thing. I used to do that.
I mean, I've done it, not in a while, thank goodness. But it's convenient, and if you're trying to pack a lunch, you grab a can, that's your lunch. It's
Yeah, I have a
difficult.
question. What do you do if you absolutely hate most of the green vegetables that are on the
Do you like any of the other colors, like carrots?
Corn.
I eat corn. I can't stand, I like most of the fruits.
What about Brussels sprouts?
No,
Won't eat.
Spinach?
no, he won't eat them. Cabbage.
Anyone have any suggestions for him?
I
eat a salad.
I think like that.
Salad's great. So, I'm sorry?
I don't eat anything green.
I've been eating them since I was a kid. It's never been an issue for me.
I saw a commercial on TV about children that didn't like green vegetables and stuff, and it was a pasta commercial, and the woman ground up she kind of ground up the vegetables and she stuck them in the pasta.
Tried that. It was horrible.
So you detected it right away?
Yeah.
What about like sweet peas, baby peas?
No, I don't eat anything that sounds like a bodily function.
Come on, you just swallow them whole.
Yeah, lima beans, no. Limes I'll eat.
That's a fruit.
If that's a fruit. Like I'll eat the lettuces.
How about celery with some peanut butter or some cream cheese on
I
it?
do that one for the moon.
Yeah, I have to be in the mood for celery. Like I'll chop it up, put it in tuna fish, but
Sure, okay.
Is any of this new to anyone, this info? A lot of people, I think, don't realize that certain green vegetables, well, like Jillian was saying, like the brighter the better. But they have certain vitamins that have been shown to help reduce stress. And I think overall, like if you just eat healthier, you think you look better, whatever you think matters, but you think you look better, and then you're more active and you feel better, and then overall you just, you're more positive.
And it gets better every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially for our transplant patients, like the last thing you want to be is in the hospital as a caregiver, and then the patient's in the hospital, and then you're all in the hospital, and then what?
Exactly.
Oh, we eat more potatoes.
And someone said once, like with that color chart, you just like maybe try 1, 2, or 3 a day from different colors. Like just strive to do that. And if you find out you don't like them, then you don't have to eat them again.
Broccoli with cheese is really good, Dan. You'll try that.
I don't eat cheese.
Oh, jeez.
Well, if it's not,
You eat something.
I'm the world's pickiest eater.
you have macaroni and cheese, but it has to have the yucky hot dogs in it.
Yeah, it's like, there are just some things that.
How about throwing some fruit in a bowl of cereal in the morning and get the fruit
Oh,
out
that's
of
the
the
worst
way?
thing.
Fruit, is that what you said?
Put milk on your fruit?
That's not bad. We
Throw
eat
some
I love that.
it's
Blueberries or
almost blueberry
bananas.
season. Throw some blueberries on your
You know what's really good for
cereal. You
breakfast,
get-
Dan, is Oreo cookies with a glass of milk.
You can't do it anymore.
Oreo cookies.
I actually hide them.
I cut back
I
on
found out
myself. I'm down to half a bag now.
I found out bananas, if you,
A day.
Acidity.
I found out bananas, if you're diabetic, you should cut the ends off.
I haven't heard that. Why?
Because somebody who, when I worked in,
Those
as a
lights
diet for
go to
an
the very end.
in nursing home, the lady was diabetic, she cut the ends off because that's all the sugar was on the ends.
That's interesting. I've never heard that
But
before.
they're also
And
bananas
the
are high in
sugar went up.
potassium.
Well, here's the, to a diabetic, a half of a banana is a serving, so maybe she was just eating too much of the whole banana itself. Because a half of a medium to a large sized banana to a diabetic is a serving. Like one of those cute little small bananas, you can probably count them as one, but the bigger ones, which most people end up
Probably
buying.
a banana with peanut butter.
That's a great snack, because it's fruit, you're getting the benefits of the fruit, and then you're getting protein from the peanut butter.
No, I don't like
Okay.
eating.
All right, if Talia is ready, we're going to move up to the kitchen and stop talking about food and taste some food. And so this is the second half of our program, and if we'd start, Sue, why don't you come up here and do self-introductions again so Missy knows
I'll come with
who are, well, this time she gets to go first.
That's fine.
Hi, I'm Sue Kelchner. I'm a kidney donor of my
No, Bob, I've had 2 kidney transplants, Sue 20 years ago, and our daughter 4 years ago.
Okay? Pam?
I'm Pam Wilson, and I'm the mother of a deceased donor.
I'm Kathy, I'm his wife and caregiver.
My name's Dan, I'm a heart transplant recipient 6.5 years ago.
I'm Julie, and our son Weston is waiting for a heart and double lung transplant.
Okay.
I'm Lorraine, my daughter Justine, I'm done lung transplant February 2nd.
Susan?
I'm Susan Pickett. I received a kidney and pancreas almost 14 years ago.
I'm Stan Peters, I'm a kidney recipient, August 8th.
And I'm Jim Gleason, had my heart transplant 18 years ago, Missy. And so the show is yours. So introduce yourself first, if you would.
Missy Gurmankin of More Time for Your Personal Chef Service. Just want to say I'm really honored to meet you all tonight. I really am. I'm sure you're nice to here. We're going to show you some very nutritious, simple recipes that you can make. I was focusing on B vitamins, folate, and just basically most nutrition punch for your dollar and your time. So we're making black bean cakes. We're making little hors d'oeuvre type portions. They can easily be made as burgers, which are out on the buffet. You're welcome to sample afterward as well. We're putting them on tortilla chips with some salsa, some sour cream, and we're going to have some slaw, some multicolored slaw, and it's something from every color of the rainbow practically. And because of that, it's again a real good nutrition punch. It's got just about every vitamin in there that you would want, and that's what you're looking for when you're choosing food. Is bright natural colors.
You're back on anytime you want.
Oh, okay, great. So basically, that's our menu, and what I'm going to show you today is slaw is so easy. It's just basically mixing together some ingredients in Indonesian slaw. Sesame oil in there and rice wine vinegar. So it's sort of a little bit of an international feast going on here because we've got almost like a southwestern kind of flavor in the black bean cakes. We've got cumin, peppers, these are all the ingredients we need for the bean cakes. We have everything here. We've got black beans, and we can black beans and puree them in food processing to make them before, and basically we can roll it together and mix it together basically. We've got some peppers, onions, some garlic, and I've salted up a little earlier.
For just a minute. Perfect. Good.
And some fresh cilantro. We've got some honey and some vinegar here as well. And some corn. Everything really just mix it together, you mix it up, and you form some cakes. A little egg. And to hold it together, a little bit of flour and some seasonings. Very good. And the colors are just beautiful. And that way you know as well, you get some with the pan, I'm just going to fry them a little bit. What I like to do is easy. We're forming like little cakes like this. Use a little Lifeline the sherbet scoop, much easier. And likewise, for the larger bit burgers, you can use an ice cream scoop. They're all uniform. They cook evenly when you're cooking them. And that's as easy as the ingredients can get. It's thrown together so quickly, and there you have it. I'm just going to fry one for you. See how quickly they can go. And we also have the recipe for the granola bars as well. These are homemade granola bars, they're chewy granola bar. Again, you've got the whole foods in there, the whole grain oats, there's walnuts, which are so healthy, heart healthy, dried fruit, there's raisins in here. You can use any kind of dried fruit that you like. Cherries, you can add some chocolate chips to make it more of a little bit of a dessert. These are about as decadent as you want for a dessert. They're chewy and they're delicious. So please help yourselves as well.
Always wanted to do this. You know how they do in the cooking show? How can I do that? I can. Basically, just wait for that to go up the temperature a little bit. And then you just drop them in. That might not be hot enough, not quite hot enough yet. But it'll get there. The bubbles starting to form. You gotta bump that camera. Perfect. See how easily that holds together with a little scoop. It's a great little trick.
You don't want to crowd them in your pan either, because that way they'll brown evenly.
Cheese and water.
And that's pretty much the dish. Easy as can be, delicious, great alternative to a beef burger, because when you're talking about certain vitamins like B vitamins, mostly you find that in beef, but beans are also a very good source of B vitamins. So there you have it, much less fat, and very healthy, very, very healthy.
Cool.
I'll try it.
Absolutely.
How they do it on the shows?
They do it on the shows, right? Does anybody have any questions?
Do you know about the Hoon cookies that you see on TV?
Oh, yeah, I've seen them. I have not tried them. I don't know anything about them really.
I was telling the gentleman about it.
Have you tried them?
I haven't, but I've seen them on TV.
Yeah, I have too. I assume they're
Sure, even better with the stuff on top.
sell them as a very
Better with the stuff on top.
alternative. Is that right?
That's what I'm trying to tell them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is it no?
This is really good.
Oh, okay. Really? Can you? Yeah, I
Thank you very much. Dan, where's the book?
Why is it that some people have a funny reaction to cilantro?
I don't know about reactions. I haven't heard that, but I just know that they either taste it, right? It's the kind of thing that you either love it or you hate it.
I'm in the hate category, but I don't even taste it. I mean, I can go and taste it, and I can eat a little bit of it.
Okay.
But I don't taste it. You did it right.
Right. Yeah, you have to be subtle. You definitely have to be subtle.
To me, cilantro tastes good, so rotten good.
Isn't that funny? Some people, yeah, and some people.
It's got a good taste.
Right. But it mince it just like kind of freshens it up, and it's like that, like you're not sure exactly what it is, but it doesn't stand out. And also the fact that it's cooked. Whereas, right, see when you put it on, like, I know that many times there's, put it on a taco, salad,
it's like, the cilantro or...
Right, and fresh it tastes totally different than cooked. Yeah.
Put some lime on it and use it for fresh.
Right, That's a great combination. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah.
Missy, just to interrupt you for a second. Truly would like to say thank you very much and offer you a thank you gift. 365 days of inspiration for inspiring us to eat better. Hey, thanks.
Sweet, thank you all so much.
Now you're delicious.
Well, please help yourselves and take more. You know, there's actually full-size ones over there with buns, because that's the other, that's what